Make no mistake, São Paulo runs at an unapologetic pace. The city is dense, relentless, and driven by work. Look at this endless stretch of high-rises. Unlike Rio de Janeiro or Florianopolis, this is a 22 million-person megalopolis. It is not a tourist destination, and it does not bend to accommodate language barriers. If you are relocating here, this creates an immediate dilemma. Exactly how many hours should you spend studying Portuguese before you get on the plane? To answer this, treat language learning as a direct return on investment. This chart tracks study hours against your access to the real city. At one extreme, you rely entirely on English. At the other, complete linguistic integration. Because São Paulo physically layers itself based on your ability to speak, your linguistic investment directly purchases your lifestyle. Let's start with a level 0 input. You learn 0 to 50 words. Keep a translation app on your phone and hope the person behind the counter speaks English. Logistically, you will survive. You can use Uber, order from iFood, point at menus, and tap your credit card to get by. Plotting this level 0 on our ROI chart shows exactly what you get for 0 study hours, a very low cost with a correspondingly low reward. Geographically, this restricts you entirely to the international, expat-facing neighborhoods, like Itaim Bibi or the cafe strips of Jardins. The trade-offs here are severe. You cannot negotiate your rent, you cannot build relationships, and every daily interaction remains purely transactional. You eat and you get around, but you remain a spectator to the actual city. Stepping up requires what we call the minimum viable input. You hit A2 or B1 proficiency, memorizing basic grammar and about 500 core words. At this level, you handle daily life independently. You can rent an apartment without a translator, or tell your building's porquero that the water is out. It also opens up entirely different, non-tourist environments. At local street markets, like the one shown here, you handle daily errands where English simply isn't an option. This mid-tier investment places you right in the center of our ROI chart. But there is a hidden ceiling. Because Paulistanos are polite, the moment they detect hesitation in your Portuguese, they will often switch to English to help you out. This well-meaning gesture keeps you at arm's length. You understand the logistics, but you completely miss the cultural nuance, the timing, and the local jokes. Minimum viable Portuguese allows you to handle logistics, but it stops short of letting you participate in the city's actual social life. To reach the highest tier of access, you have to invest heavily in B2 fluency. But you must completely ignore textbook Portuguese and focus strictly on the Paulistano street cadence. This comparison matrix shows exactly why standard language apps fail when you actually land in Brazil. On the left, textbook apps waste your critical pre-departure time on formal, stiff greetings, useless weather vocabulary, and European pronunciation drills that sound completely alien here. On the right is the actual street reality. Paulistanos speak fast. They heavily compress their words, dropping syllables entirely, and they stack diminutives onto sentences to subtly change the emotional tone. To survive your first week, you only need a handful of very specific street words. You need casual pronouns like mano or cara, work slang like trampo, basic checkout phrases like quanto custa, and standard greetings like to the bem. You also need to know how to navigate local routines. When ordering the black coffee shown here, do not overcomplicate it. Just say, un cafezinho, por favor.
That works at every counter in the city. Adopting this specific street register shifts how people treat you. Paulistanos respect the hustle of someone trying to match their pace. They start seeing you as a peer rather than a project. Optimizing your study time for the reality of the street yields a massive return on your investment, while generic language mastery just burns the clock. To make this actionable, you need to align your study plan with one of 3 distinct relocation profiles: the executive, the nomad, or the integrator. This decision matrix maps your plan. Executives accept the transactional trade-off, do 0 prep, and live comfortably in the English-speaking bubble of Jardins. Integrators abandon generic apps, aim for B2 fluency in the street dialect, and choose culturally dense, fast-paced areas like Consolación. There is also a unique middle ground option. This is Libre Day. Neighborhoods with strong cultural overlays like this lack tourist infrastructure, demanding functional Portuguese, but they operate at a much calmer pace. For nomads and integrators, relying on traditional language apps simply will not provide the necessary ROI on your prep time. That is exactly why we built Street Tongue. Our custom AI trains your ear specifically for the unapologetic speed and exact slang of Paulistano street interactions, ensuring you arrive ready for the real city. Tell us in the comments, what is the hardest local dialect or city slang you've tried to decode while traveling? We might just cover it in our very next video. São Paulo is an intense, demanding place, but it fiercely rewards effort, provided your linguistic investment matches the life you actually intend to live.